Hello, my name is Rothero-Bourge and today we're going to be looking at a mix I did for Vic Firth of Gergő Borlai at the UK Drum Show. We're going to be looking at reverbs today, a problem I encountered and how I got around it. So before we go any further, maybe let's just solo out the drums. Let's get rid of the track and have a little listen. It's always interesting to hear it without the track. Great sounding kit, really well tuned, really well performed, really enjoyed mixing this one. Now, what reverb I use or how much reverb I use is definitely genre dependent, maybe even drummer dependent, but I'm just talking typically and what I used in this mix. The kick drum verb and the tom verb is completely different from the snare drum reverb. They're two different sounding instruments. My snare drum reverb quite bright and explosive versus my tom reverb quite dark, short, definitely subtler. But I was finding in this mix that I was hearing reverb on even the cymbals as well actually, and on my toms and my kick, but I hadn't sent any of those things to a reverb. So I started chasing around Logic here, seeing if I could find where it was coming from, and it was coming from snare top. Because I hadn't gated snare top and I was getting the bleed from all these other things, that was then being sent to my snare reverb, which didn't sound very nice. So let's have a listen to our snare drum bus here, and you'll hear how much bleed there is just to start. So you can hear there's quite a lot of bleed there, and I don't mind that, and I didn't want to gate it because I don't want to lose all of his ghost notes and all the intricacy of his playing, but I didn't want to send all of that bleed to the snare drum reverb. So I had to find a way around. So actually, let's maybe listen to our snare drum reverb soloed, and you can hear the kind of nastiness that I'm talking about. So you can hear there that pretty much the whole drum kit is getting sent to my snare effects, which when it's not getting the source mics of the toms and things, it's sounding a bit thin and grainy and not very nice. And this is what I was hearing that I wanted to find a way around. So here's what I did. Let's send it to bus 11, which is going to be our workaround. And let's take it out of 7 and 8, which is our current snare effects. So it's going over here. Let's hear this. So then I've gated Gergő's snare. Let's have a listen. Not very exciting. So then we're going to send that to our effects. Okay, that's sounding a bit more like it. But then this output, the gated snare, we're not going to send it anywhere. I don't want to hear it in the mix. I want all of Gergő's intricacies, all his little ghost notes in there. But this does now mean that the only thing feeding the snare effects is the gated reverb. So if we now go back and solo snare top, you should still hear all the bleed in there. You should still hear all the ghost notes, all the toms, everything, but they're not getting sent to my effects. Have a little listen. So you can hear there, unless the snare drum breaks through the gate, it doesn't get sent to my snare effects, which is great because it really cleans up the mix and it means that the kick and the toms just get the reverb intended. It does, however, mean that my ghost notes don't make it to my snare effects, but I'm not really bothered. I still think it sounds natural. If you imagine a drummer in a cathedral just tapping a drum lightly, you wouldn't really hear the room a lot compared to them really whacking it and exciting the room. That's when you'd hear the reverb. So this was my workaround. I hope you find it helpful. And until next time, we will have Gergő play us out. Tracks back in.